Hi guys, welcome back to the Former Farm Kid channel. Today we're talking about a tetrahedral sequence, which is basically based on a triangular pyramid. If you've ever been out to Las Vegas, perhaps you've seen that hotel in the shape of a pyramid with that big light on top. That is actually a square pyramid. A triangular pyramid would have three vertical sides of triangles and then a triangle at the base. So four total triangles. A little more complicated than that, but basically we can derive from that shape what's called a tetrahedral sequence. And in this sequence, you will either be given the first few numbers. Generally speaking, if we're going to do a full sequence, we would need the first four numbers. And you can also draw those off of the diagram if you are given a diagram by counting the dots within the tetrahedron. So you should come up with a sequence like this: 1, 4, 10, 20. Those would basically be the first four you need in order to establish the sequence. And here's the questions we're going to ask ourselves, and notice the spacing I've used. We want to maintain that spacing. So the next number beneath it should go in the middle of each of these. So we ask ourselves, how do we go from 1 to 4? Well, we added 3. How did we go from 4 to 10? We added 6. How do we go from 10 to 20? Well, we added 10. Now we'll go to the next lower sequence and ask ourselves that same question. How did we go from 3 to 6? We added 3. And I'm gonna take the addition sign off, but I'm not gonna do it right now. How do we go from 6 to 10? We added 4. So I have now established my baseline sequence, and I'm going by ones on the base. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that plus sign away because this is my base sequence, 4. And now I know that I can go to 5 over here to continue the sequence up there. So in this case, I'm going to go in a V as I had done before. So I'm going to ask myself now, how do I go to the next number after 20? Well, it's going to be this number plus this number. So it's going to be plus 15, and the next number in my sequence up here would be 35. And I'm going to keep doing that. I'm going to put a 6 here. Then I would add 15 and 6. It would be plus 21. So the number after 35 would be 56. I don't have enough room to write that here. But that basically is how you do a tetrahedral sequence. I'm going to show you one other way to do this. I'm going to go ahead and compress this first line. You would do it that method if you are asked about the whole series of sequences it takes to arrive at the tetrahedral sequence, because the sequences prior to it are not a tetrahedral sequence, only the top is. So let's repeat our tetrahedral sequence: 1, 4, 10, 20. If I am only asked about the original tetrahedral sequence, there is a formula to arrive at each and every other number, a recursive formula, not an explicit. The explicit formula to arrive at any n here, which would be any number in the sequence, very complex. And it's so complex that chances are you would not get a precise answer. But the recursive sequence is very simple, and it is as follows. It's the number I'm looking for plus that number plus 1 divided by 2. So if I'm asked what is the fifth number in the tetrahedral sequence of 1, 4, 10, 20, Well, this is position 1, 2, 3, 4. The fifth number would be right here. So that is going to be 5 times 5 plus 1, which would be 6, over 2. So that's 30 divided by 2, or 15. This is the number that I add as a recursive sequence. Again, it's what I'm adding to n minus 1, or the previous term. So it would be 20 plus 15 is 35. And we saw that in the previous tetrahedral sequence, that the fifth term is indeed 35. How about the next term? So this would be 5. Now I'm looking for 6. Let's just say I'm asked for the sixth term in the tetrahedral sequence of 1, 4, 10, 20. I would have to do 5 first, because in a recursive formula, it's always based on the previous term. So if I'm asked for the sixth, I still have to do the fifth. I've done the fifth here, so let's go ahead and do the sixth. In this case, it's going to be 6 times 6 plus 1 over 2. So that's 6 times 7, 42 divided by 2 would be plus 21. So in this case, 35 plus 21 would be 56. And as you can see, I'm establishing the second row here as well, just like I did in the previous sequence. But unless you're asked for the total number of sequences and to the base, you don't really need to do that method unless you find it easier. I find this one a little bit easier. So this is the recursive that will give you basically the recursive formula that will give you basically the next term. Okay, guys, that's all we got. Thanks for watching. God bless. Keep up the great work. Any questions about this? Put them in the comments. All righty then. We will see you next time.